As well as Champions League football, Samu Omarodion smashed his target of an average rating for this season. And the beast is just getting better and better. What a player. The lovely Karen Brady also told me I have £64 million in the transfer budget. And with Kurt Zouma leaving on a free, the centre-back is our #1 target. Karen also invited me on a date. It's the opening to the new 85-seater stadium costing £500 million in 2029. My target for centre-back is Mark Gehi from Crystal Palace, who will cost pretty much all of our starting budget, but I think it'd be worth it this summer. But Palace really are playing hard to get. Apparently, we are 20th in the league for wages to turnover ratio, which is quite good, with Villa being top of that. But our offer was accepted by Crystal Palace, and with other teams, including the Saudi Arabian, interested, I needed to make this happen, so I'm going out of my way to make sure I give him more than what he wants to sway him to East London. I also noticed a certain Neymar was running out of contract, and I'm going to shoot my shot. Somehow, we can actually afford what he wants. This could be huge. He is only 33 and could still be good if we use him in the right role. And I don't believe it, he has agreed to come. We have just signed Neymar, the legendary winger, and on the same day, Mark Gehi. This is insane. Is this bigger than the double signing of Tevez and Mascherano? Well, Champions League, by the way, was won by Borussia Dortmund this year, which was also a bit of a shock. They haven't exactly signed anybody special. I guess they just had a really good run, and they still have Edin Terzic in charge. I sweet talked Karen over a lovely Nando's to give us some more coaches, and she of course said yes. She definitely fancies me. And who can blame her when I'm giving her Champions League football? And persuaded Neymar to join West Ham. On the outs, we say goodbye to Ben Rama, who has joined Norwich for £5.5 million after not playing last season for us. Kudus wants a new contract, and as our best player last season, nobody deserves it more. So let's nail him down right away before clubs come in to buy him and he wants to leave. 200k is a lot, but he is fantastic. And right on cue, Man City are also interested in it. I'm up for loaning Bunani out as his first team chances are quite low this season, so giving him a season in the Championship with Sunderland I think is the best way. A bid has come in for Alvarez, and he is amazing, and if I pick my best 11, he does go straight into the team. However, I have a lot of great backups in Ward-Prowse or John McGinn, and there is a position I need strengthening, so I'm going to need the money. And £40 million I'm going to go up to, and it's accepted. Upon selling Alvarez, I've made players fuming, led by Neymar, which is pretty funny. I've already annoyed him, and he's just joined the club, but I managed to squash the situation. Now, the position that I alluded to earlier that I might look to strengthen is the goalkeeper, because Alphonse Areola is only 2.5 star. He's 32. We're not going to get him any better, so that's possibly something to look at. However, there are a couple of alarming things when I came to the squad plan, and it's very rare that I actually use a squad planner, but for this, it helped because I've only got one good right back. Well, one right back at the club, and he's actually a centre back because I'm using that inverted fullback role. Now, he's really good in that role, don't get me wrong. He's played well in the last couple of seasons, so I might have to look at both. And it's also alarming that I only have a 2.5 star left back in Emerson and Ito, who, again, not amazing. So, as much as I have really advanced my centre-back situation with Inacio and Gay coming in, I think I'm going to look at the goalkeeper first, but have that right back in mind because I definitely need a backup. And I've created a bit of a shortlist of players that I could bring in for that. So hold fire a sec. I've got a few on my list right now. One of them I think is going to be a little bit too expensive, although, I mean, it's lower than what I thought it would be. Is Restas. I've seen him be extortionate prices. He's decent on this. He's only 20. He's very good right now, and if we did ask for availability, it would only actually cost that much, which I'm surprised with. There's a couple of really good ones, though. This one I'm probably not going to go for because his handling is quite low and his eccentricity is really high, but in FM25, I really want a ball-playing goalkeeper. He would be amazing for it. 17 passing. He also doesn't have that good of reflexes either. So Kasper Tobias, who's actually really cheap, might be a really good backup option. I don't know. However, the couple that I am kind of going with is either Nicholas Hedel, the Austrian, 24 years of age. A lot of really good attributes in there that I like outside of mental attributes, possibly. There's a couple of composure and concentration decisions I'm not too pleased with. Dennis Seaman, who is a little bit more as an average player overall. And I'm confused with which one I want the most. He's very expensive, and that's basically all my budget. But he probably has better potential. Whereas Hedel, he only has a 3.5 star potential, but right now I think he's the better goalkeeper. And if I go for him, I can also get a right back in too, which would give me quite a lot of money. So I think I'd go for this. £15 million and he'd get a work permit. I think he's going to be my #1 goalkeeper. So I stuck in an offer for the young Austrian. Looking at right backs, there was only one option that I could really afford with any type of quality, and he was on the transfer list. Start of the season is here though, and we have Leeds, Brentford and Everton to kick things off. First game of the season then, we're going to go try something new with a defensive winger, and Ward-Prowse putting in there because it's crossing ability. Neymar in the attacking midfielder role, and let's see how this pans out. Well, what a start it was, kicking things off from the spot, but then it was a set-piece central as Mark Gahey turns into a strong defender we signed him for into a goal-scoring monster somehow, banging in a second on the volley and a third before half-time whistle. And there was still time for Emerson to make it 4-0 before half-time, and then also on his debut, the one and only Neymar managed to bag a fifth, once again just before half-time. Might as well as ended the game there though, it stayed 5-0 all the way to full-time. Second game though, we lost from an Ivan Toney 94th minute winner at Brentford. But against Everton, we were celebrating our own winner from our new number 99, Samu. Good to see Bunani getting Young Player of the Month for the Championship though. And our Champions League fixtures are in, and we are playing the likes of Ajax, Arsenal and Barcelona. Before then, we could only get a draw against Wolves, and a very boring one too. First game of the Champions League is at home to AZ Alkmaar, and Neymar pops us in front from the spot, and it's a game we dominated too. Samu puts us 2-0 up. And it just keeps getting better and better. Jarrod Bowen makes it 3 in the second half, and just a minute later, it's Mohamed Kudus's turn to make it 4. Straight to Old Trafford, and Rashford scores just after 3 minutes against us. But Jarrod Bowen was incredible, and his run and pass found Neymar to equalise just before half-time. But right after half-time, another corner, and we concede again. Jarrod Bowen starts off another attack though, and Thuram found Kudus, who slaps in for 2-2. And just 2 minutes later, it was the same goal scorer Mohamed Kudus who bangs in the bloody winner. The rest of September included 2 more wins away to Aston Villa and at home to Crystal Palace before losing to Arsenal in the Champions League at the start of October. And as of right at this moment, West Ham are top of the Premier League on goal difference, but there's 4 teams all on 13 points. The rest of the month though went quite well, if you take out the Champions League games anyway. Starting off, we beat Bournemouth away from home 4-2. It was quite comfortable. Neymar again, 2 goals. This has been an unbelievable signing so far. However, we did drop points against Leicester. Tuya Calvin managed to pick up 2 goals when we were already 2-0 up. That was really annoying. James Ward-Prowse and Kudus got on the scoreline, and it was a game that we kind of like had the main chances in. We had more clear cut. They had more possession, but I think we just overall performed way better than them, which is really unlucky that they come back with 2 late goals. That then led into a 1-0 loss against Ajax in Amsterdam. I'm not too mad at it. Obviously, I would love to have done a lot better in the Champions League, but right now, our league form is so good, I'm kind of like, that's my main priority. Which is good, because then we went to St. James's Park and won 2-0 with Khéphren Thuram and James Ward-Prowse with the goals. A fantastic performance. Overall, we played fantastic, and I think our new formation is starting to progress really well. I think our defence has been solid since Gay's come in and Heedle's come in at the back. He's made a lot of saves in this game. This was a fantastic game for us. And we ended the month knocking Bournemouth out of the EFL fourth round of the Cup. Obviously, we just played them in the league and beat them then, so I was expecting to win this, and we did just that quite dominantly as well. But then we played Chelsea, who at the time was top of the Premier League. We were just behind them because of the 2 points dropped to Leicester, and, well, it was okay. A 1-1 draw, Neymar again, Raheem Sterling equalised right after, then Inacio got himself sent off, and we managed to hold on for that 1-1 draw. And that result kept us within 2 points of the top still in the Premier League. Back to winning ways in the Champions League before we faced Manchester City at the Etihad. We already won at Old Trafford, and Samu intercepted a ball on the halfway line after just 7 minutes and went through to score. However, you can't gift opportunities to Erling Haaland, and that's exactly what we did next. It's 1-1. But it's Neymar to Samu, and he's off like a rocket once again and is absolutely deadly. And within 20 minutes left, Jarrod Bowen puts daylight between us and makes it 3. And Man City could only muster up a consolation goal, and we win at the Etihad. And it's Liverpool up next, where we found ourselves 3-2 down before Samu broke the defensive line and smashed an equaliser off the bar, before Lucas Paqueta snagged the winner from the penalty spot. What a relief relief, and in the Champions League, James Ward-Prowse was man of the match against Villarreal as we scored 2 free kicks and got an assist from Samu to score in an amazing 5-1 victory at home. We were so close to beating Forest though, who scored in the 94th minute. Frustrating end of the month, but what a month considering the opposition. And with Barcelona and Spurs to play within the next 3 games, it put us in a great position, sitting in 3rd in the league and just outside the automatic qualification spots. Samu has 10 goals in 20 games this season, and Neymar and Ward-Prowse have all been outstanding for us, as well as Jarrod Bowen. In December, it was goalless against Blackburn, and Barbosa came on to get the winner. And although Samu gave us the lead, Tottenham beat us 3-1. Confidence was still high against Barcelona though, as Samu smashed in an unbelievable opener. However, we can never underestimate Barca, and they soon equalised from a very lucky own goal. We caused so much trouble down the right-hand side though, and there was Kefren Turam to find a winner past Ter Stegen. Wins just kept coming as we beat Arsenal 1-0 with a Samu-Neymar combination goal. And the Tottenham game was the only points dropped all December, as we were excellent beating Norwich, Fulham and Villa in the league while knocking Newcastle out of the League Cup. And yet somehow we are still 7 points behind Chelsea while opening the gap to 3rd and 4th place. And we are looking pretty comfortable in the Champions League phase as well. Also, I know me and Karen are on really good terms, but she's given me £80 million to spend. So, I mean, definitely that's going to help throughout the season, because I think we really need a left back. So that's what I'm going to look at getting. My 2 favourites that I'm looking at is Truffert at Rennes and Caio Henrique at Monaco, who is a lot more expensive, but maybe affordable because Arsenal are eyeing up Ito. In the meantime, we continue to win games, beating Leicester at the King Power 1-0. In the FA Cup, we knocked Stoke out 6-0 with a Neymar hat-trick. I hired an intermediary to sell Ito, and Arsenal came in for £36 million, but I managed to bump them up to 39. Next, we beat Spurs 4-0 in the semi-final League Cup first leg. We should be through. And for the 3rd time this season, we also beat Bournemouth yet again 4-3. A lot of players are going out of contract, including Gabby Veiga, and I tried to sign the Spaniard for a big wage, mind. This huge win against Spurs, by the way, the semi-final first leg, you think, perfect, now you're going to go into like your first cup final? That must be exciting. No, we we lost the second leg 5-0. It's not like I even played a bad team. I played majority of our first team players. I'll play Mariola. We had league leaders Chelsea next as well at Stamford Bridge. And Hiroki Ito leaves the club and agrees to sign for Arsenal just days before. And we were already struggling with fitness with players on international duty. But just a Reece James free kick was the difference between 2 teams, dropping us 10 points behind them. Left back wise, I've decided to go for Hincapi of Leverkusen, who has a minimum fee release clause of £74 million that I can activate. January is crazy and we recorded 3 losses in a row, which is mental, but we are still through to the FA Cup 5th round. But Hincapi is now a West Ham player at least. But in our last Champions League game, we defeated Rennes 5-0 with goals coming from all over the pitch, even without an out-and-out striker on the field. Amazingly, that huge win helped us qualify in the top 8, meaning we skipped the playoff round. Good job too, because our injury list at the minute is insane. We faced Aston Villa at Villa Park and John McGinn scored against his old club, but we could only hold out for a draw after Villa were given a penalty. February proved to be a very tricky month, with 2 back-to-back losses against Brentford and Leeds. Still in the FA Cup though, after we defeated Brentford. And it's always nice to beat Arsenal on any occasion, but a great effort in the league as we welcome back most of our players from injury. Still second, just by 3 points now, and Salzburg in the Champions League and Fulham in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. In the first leg of the Champions League tie against Salzburg, they took the lead after just 15 minutes. Thankfully, although we didn't come back to win the first leg, Kudus did manage to equalise. Lost in the league to Norwich though, and a second leg time, and thankfully it was much better, and once again Kudus scored our first goal. Neymar still is capable of brilliance though, as he flicks the ball through brilliantly to Kudus to score a second. John McGinn eventually finds space in the box to smash home a third. We also progressed through to the semi-final of the FA Cup with a 2-1 win against Fulham at Craven Cottage. Not the best performance, but nonetheless, we got the job done. Our Premier League form is down the toilet though. Dropped down to 4th too. Dortmund in the Champions League and Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final. First leg is at Dortmund's incredible stadium though, and somehow we take the lead against a run of play, only for Taylor Booth to cancel that out minutes later. Again, Emerson this time put the Travelling Hammers back into the lead just before half-time. But there was still time for Adeyemi to make it 2-2 at half-time. Jarrod Bowen sent us flying out the blocks after the break, with a goal on the 46th minute, and it stayed 3-2 until stoppage time when Paqueta made it 4-2, only for Dortmund to squeeze in a third to keep the tie very close going into the second leg. 4-3 was also the result we pulled off at Anfield. Outrageous outrageous, with Lucas Paqueta managing to score the winner on the break of play in the 95th minute. We managed to pull off a 2-1 win in the home leg and progress to the semi-final of the Champions League. Speaking of semi-finals, it's FA Cup semi-final time and we fall behind to an Arsenal goal just after half-time. However, very late on, Inacio manages to score and send it into extra time, where Emerson breaks down the left, finds McGinn, whose cross is turned in by Gabby, and we are through to the FA Cup final, where of course, it's Chelsea who awaits us. Meanwhile, it's Barcelona in the semi-final of the Champions League. And just before we take a look at the first leg of the Champions League, let's have a quick recap of what's been going on in the Premier League. Because even though I've been doing really well in other competitions, so have I been doing in the league. 5-1 against Nottingham Forest to kick things off that month just before that Borussia Dortmund game. Obviously, we mentioned about the Liverpool game in between, winning at Anfield 4-3. That's incredible. But Manchester City after the Arsenal game. We got so many difficult games here in April, and yet we come away with a point there. I know it was at home, and we were 1-0 up through Samu's goal, but unfortunately, it is Manchester City. Then we defeated Blackburn away from home, 3-1, quite comfortably too. They only scored in the 94th minute. That means we go back into second place. Now we are 3 points away from Liverpool, who are in third place. And Chelsea have already won the league with 4 points, with 4 games left. But I think we got a lot of things that are a bit more on our mind outside of the Premier League. Meaning the FA Cup final against Chelsea and that Champions League semi-final coming up now against Barcelona. But with more injuries causing first team absences, we are always going to struggle in this semi-final, and we fell behind to Lamine Yamal's magic before managing to tie things up through Jared Bowen. However, Yamal is insane and he smashed in this beautiful free kick. Reminder that he is just 18 years old and looks this good. He was also a menace in the second leg, setting up Ferran Torres, and unfortunately we crash out of the semi-final with us only managing 1 goal through Samu at the Nou Camp, losing 3-2 on aggregate. On to the FA Cup final against the champions Chelsea then. Again, we have fitness problems because of how many injuries, but I'm going to risk starting some tired legs anyway. And let's just say it paid off, because Hincapi to Neymar, first time to Samu, and we take the lead. And with Chelsea on the ropes, we continue to push, and a ball from the right goes all the way through to Sammy to get his brace. And West Ham United are FA Cup winners, and I'm taking Karen Brady out to party tonight.